Let's pop the top. Welcome to the first episode of Drunk Wives Club, featuring your favorite drunk wives, me, Jessica Barry,
and Shannon Vandenbrug.
Although we still haven't changed our names yet, so we're technically still Ames and Sisson, but nobody has to know that.
Except we just told you.
And this is going to be broadcast everywhere, so don't tell our husbands.
They already know, because we are great wives that tell them everything. So yeah, welcome to Drunk Wives Club, a new podcast that we just decided over the last year we've been talking about starting. So we're finally doing it.
I truly wish I washed my hair today.
I did wash my hair today, but you can't tell.
So the first episode, obviously we're going to be talking about very relatable topics for all of our wives and married couples out there, because we do not want to single out husbands. You also have a lot to deal with being with drunk wives, but we're so fun. So I forget what we're supposed to start with. How we met?
Yeah, how we met.
Oh, I feel like we have two different versions of the story, but I think we started hanging out in middle school.
No.
Was it high school?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I don't even remember.
Okay, I will start. So we met in high school through mutual friends, actually one of our fellow drunk wives, Missy Simpson. And she just got us together and we were friends for all of high school. And then we were 2 of 4 people that went to the same college.
How do you remember that?
I don't know.
You're weird.
I just remember weird things like that. We were 2 of 4 people that went to Millersville University from our high school, and
This is gonna be the best part.
Jess asked if we wanted to be roommates, and I said yes. And then back in the day, it was, I don't know what it is now, but it was like, if you know somebody that you want to be roommates with, you both write each other's names down. And I got really nervous and I didn't put Jess's name down. And so therefore we were not roommates, but I still stick by that decision because I heard nightmares of stories in high school about how like best friends become roommates and then they're not friends anymore because living together is like just totally different than being friends.
I really don't know. I would think we would be friends just because I always think positively, but how we both were in college, I don't think we would have been.
Yeah.
Because I was the one that would always be going to the weird fraternity parties where you would be in an inch of beer on the floor.
And I would go to the pre-parties and walk you to the front parties. And then I would say, have a great night, get home safe.
And she would always call me.
Yeah.
And be like, are you safe? And I'd be like, yes, I am, but I'm very hungover.
And I did X, Y, Z stupid things. So
yeah. But then we just kept being friends. And I feel like we got like super close after college.
Super close, I would say, towards the end of college, I think.
I don't remember. It's all a blur.
It's been how many years?
It was a lot of natty. It's up 10 years. This is our college reunion this year. We should go. Let's go to Jack's.
I mean,
let's go to E-Courts.
I'm good with not going. You'll notice throughout these podcast episodes that we are best friends, but also very different human beings, for sure.
But very the same.
I know.
Ish.
I know.
Yeah. The same, but different.
All of our like wives' feelings are very similar.
Yeah. I would say that. And when we both got engaged, Shannon got married before me. Unexpectedly, because something called COVID made me postpone my wedding a couple times. And then I was so worried that my wedding was so close to Shannon's because I wanted her to have all the spotlight.
I could have cared less.
She was the most easygoing bride where I was like having a meltdown all the time.
Well, my big thing, and I will like stick to this. So we've been married for a little over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I had like the most amazing planners. Joy Standard, in case they're listening, but they are sisters and they're so great. They are, they really helped like everything. And they were like my month of coordinator, but ended up being like 2 months before. And it was really nice because they just helped me a lot. And I think we're like pretty organized people to begin with, like in our careers too. So like for me, it was just the pandemic, which was like obviously the largest thing. Like up until 3 weeks before we were getting married, we thought we were going to have 10 people there. And we got married, our like ceremony was in a church. So we just kept telling the place, like, we're not rescheduling. Like we're going to get into how we met our husbands in a few minutes. But I was like, we have known each other for so long. Like there's no point. Like I want to be married. Like we're getting married. So like for me, I was just like, I wouldn't necessarily say I was stressed about like the wedding itself. It was just like, I didn't know how many people were going to be able to be there. I didn't even know if we were going to have a reception, but we were getting married that day no matter what.
Yeah. And planning a wedding in general is stressful AF, but let alone in a pandemic where you don't know what's really going to happen.
No. And then you have to worry, like you really do worry about
and then
everybody that's like
yeah.
coming, and you want to make them feel safe too. So that was like a big thing for us. So honestly, like if taking out the pandemic, like I think it would have been fine. But I mean, also mine didn't get rescheduled.
But I feel like afterwards, we just continued to talk about how we were drunk wives. And we had this Drunk Wives Club slogan, and we pulled other people into it. And we just always wanted to start a podcast because we feel like so many things that happen in our lives as wives, as working wives, working moms are so relatable, and people don't talk about it enough. So
where people only talk about one side, and we want to talk about both sides. Like, yes, our husbands can be a handful sometimes, but so can we. And so we fully own that so much.
Remember, I'll just tell the side story of Shannon and I started this thing. I don't even know how it started, where we would go out every Thursday, not every Thursday, like once a month. And we called it 3 Beer Thursday. And we would always go to this place in Bluebell called Harry's. We love Harry's. They're still
love Harry's. They moved, but still love them.
This one time, my husband Anthony called me and asked where we were. And I was like, we are still at Harry's. And I think it was like 11 p.m. on a Thursday.
Do you know what's weird about this? My weird remembering things. It was actually a Tuesday.
It was?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's even worse. That's like the beginning of the school week.
Right. Which is why he was like so concerned, because we always do Thursdays. But that specific time was a Tuesday.
And I was like, we're still at Harry's. And he's like, are you sure? Because I looked it up and they closed at 10. But the nice bartenders let us stay until after 10.
We weren't the only ones there. And then I happened to be there 4 days later. Hence why I remember it was a Tuesday, because I was also there on a Friday. And I like asked them that, and they were like, oh yeah, like that's usually when we close. But if there's like a decent amount of people there, like we'll hang back until like 11. So yeah, he like thought we were somewhere else.
And we weren't.
And I got on the phone and I was like, I was like, oh look, I am Googling it now. They are closed at 10. And I was like, we should go.
And we have this weird unspoken rule when we hang out, we hardly check our phones.
Never.
Like we just tell our husbands like, oh, I'm going out with Shannon, or I'm going out with Jess, and this is where we'll be. And they don't even question it if they don't hear from us for hours.
Yeah, usually like 9:30, if you don't hear from us at all, like you should perhaps check it.
Yeah, especially if it's a Tuesday. That's not good.
No. But yeah, so I think Jess was just so excited that she was finally going to be a wife after like 3 times of postponing her wedding, that she was like, well, yep, we're not just drunk anymore.
We're drunk wives.
We're drunk wives.
Which is actually more fun, because then you don't have to worry about things happening when you go out, because you just go home and your husband's usually waiting up for you, or not.
No, mine is not. Mine has been sleeping for like 2 hours.
That's true. I think Anthony sometimes secretly waits up because he's worried about me.
That's so nice.
Which I think that's
I think
that might be in my head, but we're gonna have to fact check when he comes in the door.
Yeah, I think we fact check that for sure.
Yeah, just to make
Mark just falls asleep.
Well, he can sleep.
I was with my work friends. I was with my work friends until like 11 o'clock on Thursday.
Oh my gosh, that's late.
Yeah. And he was sleeping. And he said I didn't have any service there, and I told him that. And I like got out of their driveway and it was 11, and I saw he texted me and he was like, "Do you want me to come pick you up?" And I thought that it was like at that time. And he told me, he was like, "No, I said that like hours before." And I was like, "Oh,
Not at 11 p.m.
I responded at 11, but it was fine." So
we're pretty responsible-ish, except when we go to Baldbirds. We are a big fan of breweries, and this one in particular, any local people that are listening, you definitely know about Baldbirds.
because
And
we've told you.
yeah, and their beers don't taste strong though, because you drink a couple.
No, they taste strong, but like you drink them and you feel fine. And you're like, "Oh, I can have another one."
And until you get home, and then you're like, I'm not fine.
Yeah, it's always when you get home. It happened to me the other day. Wow, so many times
I
I'm
hope-
talking about recently drinking.
I
but
hope
that's
Baldbird
fine.
sponsors us. I
That
would
would
like
be
them
fun.
to, especially the one bartender.
Who's married, which I told you. Actually, my favorite manager, his last day is today. He's moving to
Really?
Colorado.
Oh, we should
Yeah.
have
I know.
there.
Well, it would have been a little loud,
Oh,
but
that's true.
I know. Yeah.
That's a shame.
So do we talk about how we met our husbands?
Yeah, that's a great story.
Okay, you go first.
Okay. Oh boy, where should I start? So I was living in Phoenixville with a boyfriend at the time. He was terrible.
Spoiler alert, not her husband.
Not that one. So I ended up breaking up with him, and then I moved back in with my parents for a month and said, I cannot live here anymore because you're driving me crazy. And I found a Craigslist ad for an apartment in Manayunk, and I ended up moving in with a complete stranger. But Veronica, if you're listening, has turned out to be one of my best friends, and she is a doctor. So when I moved in with her, I told my parents she's definitely not going to murder me because she's a doctor trying to get her doctor degree or whatever the heck it is. So that was great. And I started downloading all of those terrible dating apps that are definitely not the same as they were 6 years ago. Now they're just weird and creepy. I would not recommend. But I downloaded.
How would you know? You're not even on them.
Maddie's on them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Or she used to be on them. But I downloaded Tinder and, Bumble and whatever heck else there was. And I actually met a lot of great people. But then after dating a couple people, this one guy I dated literally introduced me to his family 2 weeks after we were dating.
Wow, that's bold.
And bought
That's a bold
me
move.
chocolate for Valentine's Day a week after we met that said, I love you. And I was like, ooh, wolf. So then I broke up with him.
That's a lot to unpack. Really, I don't actually think I know that story. And so I feel like that's a story for a different podcast. I
know. The one time I got really drunk at what was that club in Manayunk? I forget. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It was a club in Manayunk, and I texted him and I just said, I don't want to date you anymore. And then I called him the next day and was like, sorry, I drank too much tequila. And he ghosted me. But he had all
this
stuff at my house. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
Wait,
but
maybe you only dated for 2 weeks and you had all this stuff at your house already?
Yeah.
Wow, he was like ready to move in, it feels.
I know, it was weird.
I don't remember this guy at all.
I don't think you ever met him. Chelsea met him.
Well, 2 weeks doesn't really feel like that would be. Oh, but I don't even remember hearing stories about that.
Well, I think I have a picture.
Lots of
to show you.
I feel like we'll have to have an episode on ex-boyfriends and previous relationships that made us who we are.
Oh my gosh, I really hope he's out there listening to this. Billy, I'm really sorry I drunk texted you that I wanted to break up with you. But anyways,
not Anthony. That is not Anthony.
After that, I was like, I am over this crap. Like, wait, are we allowed to curse on here?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well,
I didn't know.
That would be pretty hard.
I was trying not to, but I was like, I'm going to date someone older who has her shit together, a job, and a stable, because I'm over this, like, just dating people who were not ready to settle down. Because how old was I?
I was going to ask you that.
I think I was 26.
Did we start dating them at the same time?
Did we? At 26?
I was 26.
Oh, maybe we did.
I think you were 25.
Was I? Ew, I'm old.
I don't know.
I don't. Maybe I was.
We're not old. I don't.
That's an early age to want to settle down.
That's why I was like, oh, because I can't wait to tell my story now. Because quite thoughts.
Well, shit.
Maybe you just wanted to date like you said, someone who has their shit together.
Yeah, and his Tinder profile was him fixing a car, And my initial thought was like, wow, if my car breaks, I want to call my dad, who's an hour away. I can just call this guy who lives down the road. And we went on a couple dates. And I think my favorite story is our first date. We went to Lucky's in Manayunk. And then we went to
Is it the first time you guys
Cactus.
met?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was nervous. So I always drink before I met a stranger and hope I didn't end up on a milk carton or something.
Just like as a general rule of like safety, that's like probably not the best thing to do, is to definitely make sure you drink before you go see a stranger. I feel like it's the opposite.
But yeah, we'll leave that as a disclaimer. 10
Yeah.
years ago or 7 years ago, it was different.
Again, how would you
Maybe
know, because
not.
we're not in the dating world, but let's just
So we
assume.
went on a date and he slept over. And when I woke up, I forgot his name. So I literally was like, I'm just gonna take you home and I'm gonna go to work. And I literally thought I wasn't gonna see him again. I was just like, okay, well, I hope you have a great day. See you later. And then he called me and asked me out on a couple more dates. And then we just started dating. And we've been married for 2 years now. And dating for almost 7.
Almost 7?
I think so. I think November 7. 7
Okay.
years.
So yeah, we did start dating.
It's like half my life.
We started dating them the same year.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
See, we're the same, but different.
Very different. You'll come to realize, but still the best.
There was a lot of disclaimers in that story. I'm upset.
I feel like to say obviously drink before seeing a stranger needed to be called out like a little bit.
Maybe. I feel like a lot of people would. That's how you call
I feel
your
like
nerves.
actually like the combination of like, if you're gonna do that, then you have to make sure, like, I don't share locations or anything. I don't actually like even know how to do that. But I feel like if you tell somebody exactly where you're supposed to be and like have a time of like when you're gonna check in with them and be like, yep, I'm good, like then it's okay to.
Yeah. I also
Right.
think that's another topic because I was just talking about this yesterday with Shane and Tara about sharing your location with your husband. Because Anthony and I don't know each other's location and Shane and Tara don't, but I have other married friends
Same.
who need to know where their people are at all times.
And like I totally get it. Before, I think actually like before we were married, like I thought that was like really weird. But now, like years later, I definitely understand it, but I don't do it. We're also horrendous, the two of us, with our phones. So like it wouldn't really, I didn't have my phone for like 7 hours yesterday.
Yeah. So even if we shared the location, it wouldn't help.
No.
Our phone would probably just be in our car.
Yeah,
like
like
forgot it.
Mark would have no idea I was even sharing it with him. Like it wouldn't even matter. But yeah, I think that's very interesting. We'll have to bring people on that do share their locations and
I want to know.
Figure out why.
I want to text Mark and be like, will you share your location with me? So at least I know where you are.
Oh, will I share it with you? Or
No, will he share it with me?
His location?
Yeah.
With you?
Yeah.
Why?
So I know where he is. What if he's golfing one day and you're like, why is he golfing so long? And I can check and be like, oh, he's still on the golf course.
Oh, well then I would just like text him and get a response 2 hours later and he'll be fine. It's a flawed system, but that's okay.
It is.
It's fine. It's fine.
And half the time it doesn't even update. I think I only know Chelsea, Mina, and Maddie's location. I
literally don't even know how to do it. One time I tried to share my location with my friend Alexa at the Eagles game and she was like, you didn't do it right. I know we had like no service and I was like, what about now?
Yeah.
What about now? I tried like 4 different ways and I don't know how. I now know how to do it. I think if somebody asked me,
I'll test you.
Don't test right now because I think I would fail. But yeah, okay. So my husband Mark and I met in the 3rd grade. I know every time I say that, people are like, oh, and they were like, and you've been dating that long? And I'm like, no.
3rd grade.
I know, but then they're like, oh, like, were you high school sweethearts? And I'm like, still no. Why don't you just like let me tell the stories? Yeah, so we met in 3rd grade. We went to a small Catholic school, like 40 people. And then I also have a twin brother, so he knew my brother. And we went to, again, so weird, but like we were 3 of 4 people that went to our high school from our grade school.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like a ton of people went to Catholic school, private school. We were a few of the ones that went to public school, and there were like 3 districts within. And so like we had people go to public schools from like the other 2 districts, but there was only 4 of us from our school district, and we were my brother and the 2 of us were 3 of them. And so we never had a class together for all of high school.
You and Mark? Really?
No. And so I never like really saw him like that much, but like if we saw each other in the hallways, like we would say hi. And then junior year of high school, I was talking to somebody. No, maybe this was
Junior year.
no, I think it was senior year. It's like in between. I can't really remember.
Who was it?
I'm
was I not supposed to say?
No, but I'm not going to tell you the name.
Oh.
And so I mean, no, because I ended up dating him into college. So does that give it away?
Ish.
It totally would if I said the name. You'd be like, oh yeah, duh. But I'm not.
In my head, but I can't think of the name.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Oh.
And so yeah, he was a mutual friend. So then like our friend groups like kind of collided, and we just like started being friends. I was like still dating this guy, and then we went to college. I went to local college, Millersville. He went to Coastal Carolina, 2 like very different schools. And then we actually just started to get really, really, really close in college. Never dated in college. We both dated a few people in like throughout all the years. Fun fact, he has actually met like every single one of my ex-boyfriends. And so yeah, it's just like it's like a totally different dynamic. We'll probably do an episode about that too, because a lot of times people feel like really insecure or uncomfortable about talking about like exes. And I totally get that. Like I don't feel that way at all, because also I have like nothing to hide, because he was like my friend during all of those times. So he already knew like all the stories. He understood like why I was the way I was. And so we were like really like best friends. That was when Skype was like a big thing. So we would like Skype every once in a while. Yeah, like we talked all the time. And then we graduated college and we were still dating other people. And then it got to a point, I think like 3 years. Well, yeah, so it's been 10 years since we graduated, and we've been dating for 7 years too.
Wow.
So like it got to a point like 3 years after college, we were like best friends, and like we would go on dates that weren't dates, like because he's such a gentleman and he would like pay. And like my brother always would make fun of me and be like, oh, you're going on a date with Mark? And I'm like, no, we're just friends. Like I made it very clear that we were just friends. I mean, he'll be fine that I say this, but like he didn't want to be just friends. Like I was like, I pretty much knew he's like such a good guy. He was like the best friend I've ever had. And I was like, I don't want to date him if this isn't going to be like a real thing. And I was like, and I don't want to mess up having that best friend either. So I was like, this works for me. Like he's a great friend. I'm a great friend to him. Like, having somebody to confide in, it was great. And then I was dating somebody else, and I just realized it was like not what I wanted. And I was like kind of in this cycle of just like dating people to date them. And I was 26, I think.
Seems like forever.
Was that? I'm not very good at math, but I think 26.
Yeah, I think we were definitely around 26. I thought we were 27.
No, I was definitely
5 years.
Yeah, that can't be right, because we've been dating for 7. So it's like, did we start dating them at 25? I don't know. He'll tell me, but it doesn't matter.
Someone's got to tell us.
Someone will tell us eventually. But yeah, so I don't know. It was really weird. I remember he went to Disney for his birthday, I guess, because it was in April. And while he was in Disney, we were like talking all the time. Again, very rare. He's always been very bad with his phone. Me, not so much. That's like a more recent thing, but he's never been good at his phone. And he's like talking to me the whole time. And I was like, wow, this is really weird. And then during his trip, like I broke up with my then boyfriend, and I actually picked Mark up from the airport. And I was like, okay, like, don't tell him like immediately that you broke up with him. And I made it to, so like I picked him up from the Philadelphia airport and I made it to Boathouse Row. And I was like, so by the way, like broke up with, and then nothing happened for like a month. And then we went to Missy's house for a Memorial Day party. And I don't know, it was like weird. It's something just was different. And our friend Sean even said that too, like looking back, because he was with us, we all drove together, he left. And Mark was like, do you want to come in for a drink? And I was like, okay. And then we were like sitting on opposite ends of the couch, and he was like, so like, would you want to go on a date with me? And I was like, okay. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And I don't know, I just like, I knew that if we were gonna date, it had to be like just like us monogamous, like dating. And I just like wasn't particularly ready for that before that. So I just didn't want to ruin it. And then the rest is history. So,
And our husbands are really good friends too.
yeah,
They text about grilling things.
Yeah. Love of Blackstone. Like
I don't
loves.
really get it.
I understand it because I'm so lucky and I get to eat it stuff from the Blackstone every single day. So I understand the hype, but
Wow.
yeah.
I love this.
I know.
I can't believe we've been dating them since we were 26.
Yeah.
I thought I was older.
No, I was definitely 26. I want to say, based on the math, we've been dating for 7 years. So like it feels like I was not 26, but I think I was. So maybe I haven't been
I
dating.
think it was crazier for a little bit longer. I guess I wasn't. I guess I settled down. I miss those days though. No, I don't. I miss Club 212 at Phoenixville.
Oh my gosh, we just talked about that on at my work girls night.
Did they go there too?
The one girl had her bachelorette party there.
Oh my god, that's even better.
I know. I was only ever there twice. And then I always just hung out downstairs.
Somebody at Wings Airport, where I work at, said they used to go to Club 212, and I was like, I am almost 100% sure I probably ran into you there. I mean, along with DJ John Goslin.
Oh, I forgot about that man. Yeah.
He's DJing at the Swamp Pike Pub on the 18th if you're free.
I just found out that somebody I work with DJs in Lancaster.
Where?
At Telus 360.
What?
I know. I'm so excited. We have to go.
We do love Lancaster.
They were great. Yeah. They were great. Okay, so
that's the first episode.
That's the
first
story of us. Yeah, and the story of how we became drunk wives, and we plan on, at least for now, trying to release an episode a week. Not sure what day of the week yet.
Yeah, we don't know. We're just going with
it. We're just going with it. But a few topics that we'll probably talk about, again, just like relatable stuff, like the importance of dating, debates about like, is it okay to go to sleep angry? Like, I don't know. Spoiler alert. No.
Although we do.
Spoiler alert. I don't actually agree with that. So that'll be pretty good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't really have any evidence to back
it I know. Up. Yeah, like relatable arguments. We'll probably have guest appearances from other drunk wives. But our podcast is not only for drunk wives.
It's for drunk husbands or just husbands.
It's actually for anyone.
That's true.
It really is. It's for anybody.
For your dogs or cats.
Anybody who's dating anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be married. It's just,
that's true.
We're married and we came up with Drunk Wives Club. So,
because I'm so far removed from dating, I never know what advice to give.
I know, we should actually have somebody on to like talk about that.
I have somebody. I know somebody, and they probably know that I'm thinking about them.
I know somebody who is single who hates the dating game right now, and so maybe they'll come on and talk about it too.
I hated dating, honestly.
I did this weird thing where I just like didn't do that, and then I would just like be in a relationship for a year.
Yeah,
I don't know why I did that.
Because I got attached to people really easily.
I had the opposite problem.
I know, you just didn't give a shit, and I was like, "Dang, after a month, I think I love them."
No, not
Yeah.
me. Not me. Some people, but no.
Yeah.
Well, in general.
So a
no.
variety of topics, and if anybody has any suggestions or things you want us to cover, we can cover anything. We can basically talk about anything, and if we're not experts in it, we will find somebody who's
Yeah.
an expert.
We also won't pretend that we're experts, so we'll try and talk about it and then be like, I don't know what the hell we're
I feel
talking
like
about.
we kind of pretend that we know what we're talking about. Most times we do.
Doesn't everybody do that though?
Yeah.
I mean, I
Some
just feel like
wives
that's kind of how
always
you
know what
like
they're
get
talking
through
about.
life. Like at work, if you don't know you're doing something, like you Google it.
Until you make it.
You ask somebody that knows. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
That's what
The
we'll
person
do.
I know is Google.
Yeah.
Not a boomer. We
Uh,
hope you listen next week, and
Yes.
you can follow us and subscribe on all the major podcast platforms, which I will be honest, I only know Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So whatever
also
other one.
YouTube, because we'll have it
Oh,
as
yeah, we'll have a video.
So yeah, feel free to comment. Be nice.
Yeah.
Don't be nice. I actually
I promise I'll
Well-
wash my hair next time.
I'll
No.
maybe do my hair next time, but probably not. So
Yeah, it's just
but yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for listening and cheers. See you next week.
Bye.